the PDF downloads of the African Dialogues, Volumes 1 and 2, are in the links below the description of this video. Charles, how can we create a better living experience in our present now? How to make the personal life vibrant for a better life here? Duane responds, it's not an easy place, and the systems already have been created. So for the most part, people have to go along with the system and try to do something with their life here. The reason everyone is here is to recognize the bigger part of life. We've all come through what we have, and most people have come through religion or the spiritual paths, etc., and that's fine. Except these things, like when we were raised by our parents, are babysitting things. So now we're coming to the next step and thinking it's all the same thing. And it's not. You start off with getting the idea of what we're doing, but now you're bigger, and it's like you have a job to do. That job is about you waking up and recognizing what's going on in this world, and the true reality life is. But that's a decision you make. A lot of people don't want to wake up for the most part. They just want to go along with the social order, which is understandable. If you look at history and go back even 100 years, all the promises and the good life and times, yes, people have had these things, but really overall it's all become worse. And it keeps getting worse every day. So much for the lifestyle here. It's really about survival and waking up. When it comes to the details, this is where the individual investigates themselves, not just being hand-fed everything right there for them. They decide to investigate this. This becomes their adventure and journey with their own experience. I'm not going to go into detail on how to build a rocket ship. If a person wants to go to the moon, then they're going to have to figure that out for themselves. I give the basic ideas because just going over the basic ideas of anything here is a whole lot. Look at all the Skypes, the blog talk radio shows, the books and groups I've written, and I've just barely touched the surface. It's not that we're going to change the world. We can't do that. The world is set into what it has decided. The best you can do is get along and figure out your part with this, and how you, in some way, can become involved and step up and support those who are really doing something. I see this as very important, and I see at the same time people vacillating. Well, it is their choice. Again, it's getting down on the playing field. Do you want to just be a spectator and watch the game? Or do you want to get involved? Many people are thinking if this is the right way, etc. But life is an isness, and what makes sense? Take the time to make sense of it, or don't. We do. We make sense, and just the explanations alone should show it. The best part is the new you on the real side. As you start to see things, and you hear experiences from others too. What makes sense? The birds make sense, but people don't pay attention to the birds. the bird's lifestyle makes sense. There's more to looking at the birds than thinking how they just live in a nest, how they never go to the grocery store or movie theatre, etc. From the viewpoint of the birds, they're fine. But from the personal view of the human part, it seems a little bit funny. Again, it's a view. When it comes to the details of anything, if a person wants to be a swimmer or a runner, these are things they decide for themselves. Really, the focus is the real universes, which is an isness, which is now, and that's the possibility that we're offering, and the individual in their own way figures it out. When it comes to their personal life, that's all their own. We get this all the time. People read the courses. They read the books, then want to know what's next. What else have you got, etc. We had an individual who has done all this for 4 years. He's read everything and still hasn't figured it out. He's asking what to do next, and to provide him with ideas. He should have figured it out by now. It's like going through high school and realizing at some point you're going to make your own life and make your own choices every moment. This is where still the world is lagging behind. Look at what we're doing, and what the new friends are doing. They're stepping up and doing something. We don't have 9 to 5 jobs. We've made our lives of a particular, so we don't need that at this time, and we have other things going on too. We're creatively supporting ourselves here so that we can present this to the world, because the world is on very fast forward self-destruct. They're exposing a lot of these underground tunnels now on Facebook, etc. They're going to get everyone underground. The people that are left, that is. This is why they built subways and things like this, to get people used to going underground, and how it seems like a cool idea. They could have built monorail systems down the streets, but no, they decided to go underground, getting people ready to live beneath the surface, like on Mars, and this is where the world's going. This is why I take all the time I do to present this, because there's only so much time. If the person hasn't developed their awareness more so than just their personal self, then they're going to be stuck here. That's just very real. This isn't a belief system. You really have to earn your way, really more so than you can imagine. The details of anything is that which each person must figure out for themselves. I'm not going to sit here and explain it to them. The systems have been purposely created to keep people passive and unaware and one-dimensional. You want to get that through yourself. This is very real. That what is seen out here in the outer world is a creation to hold you to it. Most people look at the created stuff as something really good, how they have made progress. What you've done actually is bury the essentials underneath all that stuff and destroyed them. Look at New York City and what's under that. All those buildings are headstones. That's a graveyard, and it will all become extinct after a while. The graveyard will still be there, but the people will be gone because of how everything is being poisoned. In the meantime, start to get creative and figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to be drawing plans for people. I'm already deciding certain things to go a particular direction. The new presentation is transforming, but people have to recognize that, or they stay with their personal life. It's a much bigger picture constantly, and it's much better, but you have to learn to see it. You're going to have your personal life. It's not going to vanish. But you've got to figure it out for yourself. It's the doing and the supporting. It's the mind process of thinking and talking about it. Talking about the climate change and all this funny stuff they have created. Thinking that by the very fact people create these conferences and these ideas, these big seminars, that something's getting done, when in fact nothing is. Nothing is being done about it. It's only getting worse. But that's the idea. That's the overall plan. They don't want anything to be done. It's just sound good stuff, and we're the only ones that are providing a real education and real guidance for the real universes, which is an isness now. We're the only ones, as everybody else has their sound good stuff, which keeps everybody in creation. The next step for everybody, for whatever they're going to do, is figure it out for themselves. It has nothing to do with me. It just becomes their personal adventure, and then can they figure out how to step up and stand real with the real guides. It's a step at a time.